Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a potential absolute game changer for millions of people living with diabetes. We're looking at a comprehensive scoping review from the SAIMSARA journal and mapping out the latest evidence on something truly fascinating: inhaled insulin.
I want you to imagine this just for a second. What if your mealtime insulin was entirely needle-free? Think about eliminating that real daily needle fatigue and the constant stress of having to perfectly time your injections around every single meal you eat. For a lot of folks, that sounds like an absolute dream, right? Well, the data is showing us that it's actually becoming a very real option.
Okay, let's dive into Section 1, a needle-free promise.
So, what we're really focusing on here is known as technosphere insulin. Now, I really want to emphasize that this technology isn't just about ditching the needles. I mean, sure, that's a massive bonus, but mechanically speaking, it's about matching your body's natural physiological response to food way more accurately. Because it goes in right through the lungs, it acts ultra rapidly and then clears out super fast. It's actually mimicking how a healthy pancreas works.
And to really grasp what we mean by ultra rapid, just look at the onset times. Inhaled technosphere insulin starts doing its job, hitting 10% of its maximum effect in a mere 7 to 15 minutes. Now compare that to your traditional subcutaneous injected insulin Lispro, which can take anywhere from 21 to 38 minutes to hit that same mark. It gives you a true fast-on, fast-off profile, completely eliminating that frustrating waiting game before you can actually eat.
Let's move right into Section 2, efficacy in type 1 and type 2 diabetes.
For adults managing type 1 diabetes, inhaled insulin is really holding the line. The SAIMSARA review shows it achieves non-inferior HbA1c control compared to usual care, meaning it works just as well. But honestly, what's probably more important for your daily practical management is how it significantly flattens out those early post-meal glucose spikes. And we're seeing sustained reductions in HbA1c over 30-week extension studies. It genuinely helps smooth out that daily blood sugar roller coaster.
Now, when we look at type 2 diabetes, the data reveals a really fascinating secondary benefit: weight management. As we know, traditional insulin therapy often brings along that incredibly frustrating side effect of weight gain. But patients using inhaled insulin actually saw a weight loss benefit. We're talking a reduction of 0.78 kilograms compared to a slight weight gain seen with injected aspirin. That is a huge deal for overall metabolic health.
And you know, the advantages here aren't just physical, they're profoundly mental too. The evidence maps clearly show that inhaled insulin actively reduces what's known as psychological insulin resistance. Patients are reporting significantly higher treatment satisfaction and a really strong preference for this method. It drastically lowers that totally understandable reluctance a lot of people feel when they're told they need to start insulin therapy. It brings a sense of peace back to mealtime.
Of course, we have to look at the whole picture. So, Section 3. The pulmonary safety catch.
We do need to pause for a second here, because as objective reviewers of the data, we have to acknowledge a stark reality. 3 times. The review highlights a massive retrospective cohort study that actually found a 3-fold higher incidence of COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, associated with inhaled insulin compared to those rapid-acting analogs. Now, while no link to lung cancer was observed, make no mistake, this is a major safety signal that researchers are tracking extremely closely.
So, the crucial takeaway here is that inhaled insulin is absolutely not a universal, restriction-free miracle cure. It comes with some very strict precautions. First off, a mild cough is super common. It affects roughly 1/4 to 1/3 of users. It also absolutely requires baseline and ongoing pulmonary testing to make sure your lungs are handling it well. And it is strictly contraindicated, meaning you absolutely cannot use it if you actively smoke or if you already have chronic lung disease. Safety and continuous monitoring are paramount with this.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 4, the future of inhaled insulin.
So, where is this all heading? Let's talk about how this integrates with modern medical tech. Imagine an automated insulin delivery system and artificial pancreas. They are brilliant pieces of technology, but they can still sometimes struggle to keep up with those really sudden mealtime spikes. By taking that baseline system and adding an ultra-rapid inhaled insulin dose just for your meals, studies are showing you get dramatically superior postprandial glucose control. The peak action kicks in 30 minutes earlier. It beautifully smooths out those after-meal spikes without overcomplicating your tech stack.
It is such a fascinating frontier for diabetes management, isn't it? Which leaves us with one highly provocative question. Will the lungs eventually replace the skin for insulin delivery entirely?
If you want to dive deeper into the clinical trials, the safety registries, and where this tech is going next, I highly encourage you to go find the full evidence map in the SAIMSARA review paper. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.